Well, Joy, I am so glad that I get to see you again.
Yes,
And
thank you.
it's so nice to have you part of our friendship force.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been exciting. I know that you have friends already here in Friendship Force, and Lottie was so excited to have you come and stay with her and spend time together. So we want to know a little bit more about you. We have heard a bit, but we need to get some more information. So first of all, just talk about your childhood growing up in Kenya, what it was like, and what your experiences were like, so that we get.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my name is Joy Jenny Murugi Gishria. Gishria is my dad's name. So Murugi is my name, my African name. So it's from the Kikuyu tribe. We are 43 tribes in Nairobi, in Kenya, in total.
Yeah.
And the Kikuyu is one of the major groups and the largest groups in Nairobi. So my name means, because every name in Kenya has a meaning, so my name means cook.
Cook?
Yes.
Like in the kitchen, cook.
Yes.
And do you cook?
I do cook.
Yeah, you do cook, so you live up to your name.
Yes, I do. Yes. So that's my name, named after my grandmother.
Yeah.
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 And I'm 28 years old. I was born in 14th April 1993.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so what was the year? And you're 28.
I'm 28, so I was born in 93.
Oh, okay, 93.
Yeah, I just turned 28
Yeah.
in April. Yeah.
So, tell us what it's like to be a young girl in Kenya.
Wow. I must say there are very many opportunities.
There are.
Yes. Yes, it's especially being in IT, it's a male-dominated field, but there are very many opportunities for ladies like me. Yeah.
Yeah. So education's available when you were in elementary school. I don't know if they call it elementary school, but the young 5 to 12-year-olds, and then do they have a middle school and high school?
So we have primary school, we have kindergarten, primary school, high school, then university.
Yeah.
Yes, so I did all three, and I went to a boarding school in high school because I guess since we were colonized by the British, we have very many similar traits and attributes. Yeah. So I did go to a boarding school for 4 years, and we took breaks, 2 breaks, which was in April and December.
Oh.
Yes.
So, learning English is just part of growing up in Kenya.
Yes, so English is our first language.
Right.
Yes, together with Swahili.
And so Swahili is the other language.
Yes.
So you speak 2 languages.
I speak 3 languages.
So what's the third?
So my mother tongue is my 3rd language. So it's English, Swahili, and my mother tongue, which is Kikuyu.
Kikuyu.
Kikuyu, yeah.
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 So I'd like to hear the difference. So say something in Swahili and then say something in Kikuyu.
Okay, so I would say, how are you?
Uh-huh.
So in Swahili it's habari yako.
Habari yako.
Yes. And in Kikuyu it's ohoro waku.
Orohoraku.
Ohoro waku. Yes.
Well, I didn't say it right, but
Yeah.
so it's quite different.
Yes, it's quite different.
Because sometimes if you travel in Europe, and there are some languages that countries are different, but the languages have some commonalities to it. The sounds are very similar, but this doesn't sound similar.
No, it's not. Because Swahili came with the Arabs when they were in the coastline.
Oh.
So when they were doing their trade, they kind of intermarried with the ones in the coastline. So that's how Swahili came into.
Oh
Kenya.
my gosh.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Huh. So,
Yeah.
so was it tough learning all 3? Because you obviously were doing it at the same time as a child. So
Yes.
yeah.
So basically I would say in the home setup, your parents would speak to you in English and Swahili. But then maybe, it actually depends. With my generation, not many us speaking our mother tongue, because we want to like end tribalism, because there's so much tribalism with the older generation.
Yeah.
So we want to stop it. So most of us are not speaking our mother tongue.
So you're just speaking
We're
Swahili
just speaking Swahili and English.
and English.
Yes.
And is there a political movement to make that happen, or is it just sort of the younger people or younger generation are saying, you know, let's just all learn Swahili?
Yeah, I think there's not really a movement per se, like political, but we are trying to, because the older generation would just sit somewhere and maybe you're not from that tribe and you start speaking your mother tongue.
Yeah.
Which is not right. So we kind of try not to speak our mother tongue and like address each other in English or in Swahili to make each other comfortable. Yeah.
Because it would be tough if some of the older generation, they're very comfortable in the mother tongue.
Yes,
and
yeah.
It's hard to break that tradition.
Yeah.
That would be tough.
Yeah, it is, especially like for our grandparents.
Yeah.
Because my grandma was like, I don't want to hear Swahili.
Yeah.
You have to speak to me in your mother tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, of course, America is made of immigrants, and my ancestors on my mom's side came from Denmark.
Oh.
And so they spoke Danish. So my great-great-grandfather spoke pure Danish.
Oh, wow.
My great-grandfather spoke some. My grandfather was moderately fluent. My mom learned a few words, and I know nothing. So in a few generations, it went from, you know, native speakers to now no one speaks it in the family. And none of my cousins, no one any longer speaks that language. But it takes a few generations to move from that primary language to another language.
Definitely.
So tell me what high school is like for you. So is there sports, is there drama, is there music, or is it primarily academic? So are there extracurriculars for the kids?
Yes, we do have extracurriculum activities. We have, I'd say in my boarding school, which was an all-girls school.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. We had tennis, we had football, which you call soccer.
Soccer, right.
We had hockey and volleyball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have a swimming pool because it was kind of an old school. Yeah, it was an old Catholic school. Yeah, and most people in Nairobi prefer taking their children to Catholic schools because they think they're more disciplined, and finally they say you end up right. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So is the Catholic religion the predominant?
Yes. So
religion?
Christianity is, I would say, maybe 75%, and the Muslim, and now the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did your mom get involved in Friendship Force? Because she's active. Is your dad active as well?
My dad passed away when I was 1.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
I'm so
it's
sorry.
okay. Yeah. So it's just been me and my mom.
So it's just the two of you.
Yeah.
No other siblings?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, but they're all married.
But
And
they're
they left
married.
the house. Yeah. So I'm the only one in the
So
house.
it's just you and your mom in the house.
Yeah.
So when did your mom get involved in Friendship Force?
If I'm not wrong, in 95?
95?
Yes.
So it's been a while.
Yes, she was just a member. Then recent, I'd say maybe 8 years, maybe. I'm not very sure. She's been the club president of Friendship Force. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to get married. Yeah. Because I'm not yet a member, so I'm a member by default. So
Yeah.
I would say that.
Well, being part of her family.
Yeah.
you-
And I just help out when guests come. I try to help them out. Yeah.
So in 95, you were born in 93?
93.
93.
Yeah.
So you were just 2 when she started her involvement with Friendship Force. So you've grown up with this organization.
Yeah.
You don't know anything else other than your mom having this influence.
Yeah, just getting to interact with different guests, and I would say it's a very amazing experience because you And it was very interesting, and we kind of got along. The first day, of course, is awkward, but
Yeah.
as the weeks go by, and the days go by, you get to have this special bond, which I don't know, it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, my dad was a member of Rotary, and they do foreign exchange. And so we had foreign exchange students who would come and live with us for a year. And, oh my gosh, they became our family. It was just so intense, the relationship with them. So share with us some of the really memorable experiences with people who came to your home and stayed with you. You got to meet them. So talk about some experiences.
Let's see. The Japanese were really amazing people. As much as we didn't get to understand each other, we got to do the sign language bit, and it was just, I think as they say, friendship is not about just speaking all the time.
Yeah.
It's the bond, it's just the trust of them coming all the way to Africa, because very many people have a bad perception of Africa. Yeah, and also the Brazilians. I think they were our second last group to come. Yeah, they were all hype and fun and dancing in the house. They were just amazing people. Yes.
So what about the ones from Kansas? Because you had them from Kansas too.
They were good too. They were good. We had a very nice time. Yeah.
And it must have been a real connection for, strong enough that you would contact
Yes,
Lottie and
we kept in touch even after she left, and I was like, I just got a puppy and I know she's a dog mom, so I was like, I need some advice maybe. So I just sent over a picture, and my mom was like, have you told her you're going to see her? I was like, no, not yet. So I was just like, okay, hi, I'll be coming to your town. Hope I'll get to see you. And yeah, we've always been communicating through Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to be. You're really supposed to become friends.
Yes.
And it truly happened with you.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So tell me what it's been like this past year during the pandemic. What's happened to the friendship force in Kenya? Has your mom been able to have people in, or has that just dried up?
Yeah, it's been a bit crazy because they also haven't met as a group ever since COVID, and with the lockdown, because we had a lockdown and we had curfews, we had a 7 p.m. curfew, so it was really hard to even go outside and just breathe. So it was, I would say it's a very trying time for the club, especially they were very used to seeing each other, and if someone had a funeral, they would go and be with each other, weddings, and now you're just locked up. And since the group is a bit older, and now trying to Zoom each other is also a complicated situation. So
because you have to have the technology and know how to do it.
Yes. Yeah, and not everyone is living with a younger child, so it's not like they'll help you communicate. So it's just been, I think it's been very bad.
So has your mom made some travel arrangements in the future with Friendship Force already, or is she just waiting for?
I think they do have a group. I'm not so sure which group it is, but they were planning for 2022.
So 2022 is when they're going to get started.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let's thank you for sharing that information. It's, I know it's been tough for us just thinking about not being able to see each other doing Zoom, and then when we're together, it's keep your distance, and no food, no socializing. You have a meeting, you say hi, and then you're gone. And it's changed so much, our connections with each other. So let's talk about why you're here and what your job is and the purpose of your visit. So first of all, talk about your job, and then the visit. What's going on?
So I work for a company called Amref Flying Doctors. They deal with air ambulance evacuations, and I started there as an intern. I just did my 3 months, and my boss was like, oh, I think you're doing a good job, so since we were only 2 in the IT department. So he was like, oh, well, I think we need someone, so you can join us. So I was like, oh, good, no interview, so since I was here.
So you were doing a good job.
Yeah, I was. So yeah, I joined AMREF in 2017. Yes, I joined AMREF in 2017, and so AMREF has it's one company, but now the Flying Doctors is like a subsidiary. So the AMREF, it's called AMREF Health Africa. So they deal with mostly they have projects in the remote areas, and they help like with malaria, to educate people about malaria, cholera, and HIV. So they send like the how do I say it? Like if they have midwives, they would send them to the remote areas to help the women who can't go to hospital.
Yeah.
So now AMREF Flying Doctors is the one that does like the air evacuations for like if we have expatriates back home and they would like to go back to their origin country, we would take them there at a small fee. So yeah, I guess that's how they run it, I could say, in a nutshell. Yeah.
So you're part of just organizing those experiences.
So I'm in the IT department. Yeah, mostly people when you mention AMREF Flying Doctors, they think you're a doctor, but I'm in the IT department, and so far we have 4 planes that are from the United States. So normally they would get like how would I say? Someone would offer like the price of a plane, then they would go through the board and see if they really need it. Then would normally take, like, we have 2 pilots which are doing like, they can land anywhere.
Really?
Like, so they don't need like
so
a
water,
runway.
land?
Mostly just land.
Mostly land.
Yeah, so they'll land anywhere, like even on the, let's say, because mostly Kenya airstrips are not tarmacked. Yeah, so they could land anywhere, pick the patient, bring them to Nairobi for more medical attention,
Yeah.
and then maybe fly them now to their home.
Wow.
Yes, so
if,
that's kind of what I do.
if these people are coming from the countryside, they wouldn't have enough money to pay for that.
Yes,
So-
so for that, there are some charity evacuations we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what funds are coming in so you can do that charity work? How are you getting that money?
So as I said about the AMREF Health Africa, they have some offices in New York, so people do a lot of funds drives. So because it's all over the world, so the offices that are outside Africa do the funding for us, so that we can be able to do the charity evacuations. Yeah.
So now you're here in Wichita for some training. So
Yes.
tell us about what that training is.
Okay, so AMREF is purchasing an aircraft from Textron, and the aircraft will be going to Nairobi in a few weeks. So there's a group that came to do their training. We have maintenance guys and
Yeah.
pilots.
Yeah.
And now since they were like, oh, the systems in the cockpit and IT helping us with the gaming devices, would like someone from IT to come.
Yeah.
So my boss was like, since you already have a visa, you can go. So I was like, it's okay, I'll do it. So I was like, why not contact Auntie Lottie and tell her I'll be around for a training, and maybe we
Yeah.
can meet over the weekends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So did you already have a visa?
I had traveled to the US before to see a member of Friendship Force who's in Arizona.
So is this more than a friend?
No. No. We had hosted them. They'd come with I can't remember which group it was, but they'd come as a group.
From Arizona, so it's a group from Arizona.
I think it was one of the ones that you join many people, but there were some people
okay.
from Arizona who came.
So a group was going in this.
Yes. Yes.
So they were an
Yeah.
attachment to the original group.
Yes. So it was a couple, so they were like, oh, we'd like you come over to the US to experience Christmas. So I was like, oh, I don't have a visa, so I don't know how to go about it. She was like, oh, I'll just write a letter to the embassy. So she wrote the letter, I went to the embassy and I got the visa. Then she was like, oh, good, you can come. So I went in December, just before COVID.
So 2019.
Yes.
Oh, you were lucky.
Yeah.
You got it
Yeah.
before the whole, because COVID was active in
Yes.
at that time. We just
Yeah.
didn't realize
We
it.
didn't realize it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I came back is when now they started saying, oh, we're going to shut down. And I was like, oh.
So how long did you get to stay in Arizona?
I stayed there for a month.
For a month?
Yes.
Are you talking to them while you're here in Wichita? Is there
Not
communication?
yet. I haven't told them I'm here.
You haven't told them?
Yes.
Well, you know, Lottie would be happy to drive you to Arizona. You just say, come on, let's take a road trip. A girl road trip.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So how much longer are you going to be here in Wichita?
I'm here till the 22nd of May, but on Monday I leave to Florida.
Yeah.
That's where the plane is, so we're gonna check it out. And there's a group from I would say from the airport, the Kenyan Airport Authority, that will be coming to check out the plane in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, to check if it's airworthy to go back to Nairobi. Yeah.
So the pilots and do stewardesses or stewards or flight attendants, are they? There isn't that kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think I would
that-
say the nurses act like the
So the-
stewardesses,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yes.
So how many people can fit on this plane?
So this is a jet, so maybe, because normally they'll take out the normal seats
Right.
and put one stretcher. Then there'll be a doctor and 2 nurses and 1 family member. So that would be roughly 6 people. Yeah.
So now 6 people, but before
Before it would
change.
take more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a normal jet.
yeah,
Yeah. Normal private jet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us about, so this is your second time to the U.S.
Yes.
So what were your impressions about the United States before you came, and then what was reality?
Okay. I guess there wasn't much of a culture shock because of the internet and
Yeah.
Googling. So maybe the roads, because there's so much traffic in Nairobi now, because we're building new roads now, but there's always traffic in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And maybe the people, I guess. Yeah, people. I find Americans loud.
Loud.
Yeah. At home, everyone is so quiet, and here someone would definitely ask you, "Oh, that's a nice thing. Where did you buy it?" So we're like, "Oh, okay."
So not only the
Yeah.
volume is loud, but just the assertiveness.
The
of-
assertiveness,
yeah.
yeah, and also the volume.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So both things.
Yeah.
So, are you picking up any of the American traits, or are you?
I'm generally a quiet person,
You're
so
generally-
and very low tone, so I don't.
So you're not
And
becoming
maybe the
American.
pronunciation, because like some things you say and someone won't understand, so you have to. We say we put a twang in it, so you have to say it a bit in a different accent.
Yeah. Is it hard for you to understand Americans, their English, since there is an accent difference, or?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, so far, no, I haven't had a problem.
Because you still have access to American music and
Yes.
movies
We
and
listen to a lot of
and,
American music.
TV shows and
Yes.
stuff like that. So you hear the American
Yeah, we have
English.
American English, yeah. For Mom, it would be a bit difficult, but for me, yeah, it would be just because she doesn't watch like all the shows I watch
Yeah,
and the
so,
music.
so her ear wouldn't be used to hearing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Is your English changing in any way?
Not really.
So is it, I'm going to assume that foods are different.
Yes.
Your diet in Kenya versus your diet here in America.
Yes.
So what do you think of the American food?
I think there are a lot of fast food than Nairobi. Yeah, and we are used to hot meals, and you're used to cold, like sandwiches and stuff. We like everything hot, even if it's hot outside. We'd have a hot cup of tea, and the drinks with ice. Yeah, I'm always saying I don't want ice. I don't want ice. Yeah. But yeah, so far it's a bit I would say maybe the closest meal maybe to Kenyan food is the Mexican food.
Yeah, with the rice and
With the
beans.
rice.
And,
Yeah, and beans.
yeah.
Yeah, and the fried beans, yeah.
So do you eat a lot of Mexican while you're here?
I haven't yet. I should.
Well, you gotta tell Lottie, hey, we're doing Mexican.
Yeah.
So, since your name means cook,
Yes.
so what's your favorite meal to prepare?
Oh, that would be pilau.
Pilau.
It's our celebratory meal back at home. It's just rice with spices in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a meat side dish, it's the
It's
rice
just rice, yeah.
and the flavoring itself
Yes, the
is,
flavoring, yeah. And maybe you'd get a side dish of like, how would I call it? It's like a salad per se. It's just onions and tomatoes and coriander mixed with a bit of vinegar and salt.
yeah.
Yeah.
So who cooks more in your house, you or your mom?
My mom.
Your mom.
Yeah, she likes it done in a certain way.
But
She'd be like, oh, you did it the wrong way.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, that would
But
be
she
tough.
enjoys my cooking. She's just like, I'm training you.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
I think about my mom and I did learn a few things watching her. Same thing when I was married, watching my wife. And so I did a little cooking after my wife died, and I was the head cook and bottle washer. But it's hard if you haven't done it and you just
Yeah.
watched. It's like, oh my gosh, how did she do that?
Totally different. The
Yeah,
taste
oh my
will come
God.
out different.
Yeah, it's not, you don't get the right amount of
Yeah.
spice, and it's maybe you cook it too long or you undercook, or
Yeah.
it's tough
It is.
unless you really have the experience.
Yeah.
So your mom needs to be saying, cook this, Joy, you do this and I'll watch it.
Yes, you can prep for me, then
Yeah, so you get to go.
Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about your country and what you hope for Kenya, or